This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Stephen Jarvis and Friends podcast, part of the Deluxe Edition Network.com, where you will find the podcasts of the month, which are Barrel Aged Chicks and
Deep Dark Secrets
podcast. Sorry about that, LaDonna. We had Kyle here, but I guess Kyle decided he wanted to 86 himself out of here. So with me today, I got Robert Parmer from the Broken System podcast. This is his first ever time on this show. I have the number one shit talker, as he likes to call himself, Brian. And then we have someone that's standing at 4'8".
You're a dick.
Can make him
5'4".
5 foot tall. If
I'm
you put
5'4",
him on Brian's shoulders. Mark, his team's never going to win a Super Bowl, just like mine. Bensette. Hey guys, how are you doing today?
Cheers, boys. I'm
good. How are you?
Great.
Pretty good. Nice to have you on here, Robert.
Thank you. I appreciate the invite.
Hopefully this goes smoothly. I see we lost already one viewer.
Hey, Robert, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
All right, so we are talking about Mel Brooks' films. I know we put rankings in there, but we may rank some. Who knows? We're kind of doing this by literal bullshit. But if you want to, Brian's going to show you something. Hey, Brian, will you show us something?
Wait a minute. You want me to do it?
Fine. Here, I'll do it.
Hey, there you go. You got the volume and everything, so you're good.
Careful, you idiot. I said across her nose, not up it.
Sorry, sir. Doing my best.
Who made that man a gunner?
I did, sir. He's my cousin.
Who is he?
He's an asshole, sir.
I know that. What's his name?
That is his name, sir. Asshole. Major asshole.
And his cousin?
He's an asshole, too, sir. Gunner's mate, first class, Philip Asshole.
How many assholes we got on this ship, anyhow?
Yo!
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Keep firing, assholes!
Fantastic. That by far, guys, I'm going to be honest. When I was younger, we didn't have cable TV. We had VHS tapes, and there were 3 in our house. And it was Spaceballs, and then The Godfather, and The Godfather 2. And I think I was like 10 or 11. So what do you think I watched all the time? Spaceballs.
Hey, at least I had Porky's.
So I tried to learn that movie line by line. So I apologize when you play clips like that. I will try absolutely to relive my childhood with Spaceballs. It was fantastic.
So, Mark, were you able to watch Spaceballs, or was that not on Yellow Brick Road at that time?
Hey. Bastard, it was there. Plus, I don't even have to watch it. I know the fucking movie backwards and forwards.
Good God. This is
I mean, that and Men in Tights are 2 of my favorites that Mel Brooks did.
And Men in Tights came a little bit later in his career, too.
Yes, 94, I think it was.
94 and 95, but yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, still, it's funny watching him in that one, because in each one of his movies, he plays more than one role.
Most of the time, yeah.
And the thing that I like about Mel Brooks also is he loved to break that fourth wall. Every movie, he broke that fourth wall. Mm-hmm. And that's something that you don't see nowadays, and not the way he did it.
So which one would be your favorite movie, Mark?
Men in Tights. It's just the name that does it for Mark.
No, not that. No. Spaceballs is always going to be my top Mel Brooks movie.
Cool. Robert?
And then
Mine's Young Frankenstein.
I actually watched that
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, I just watched that one yesterday. I had to rewatch some of the movies just to see them, and just to watch that one, it was like, wow, black and white, and just some of the stuff in it was funny.
It was just so over the top.
Yeah, there was. I watched it again a few weeks ago when we first. It was a week ago when we first started talking about this, and I just remember Gene Wilder and the guy that plays
Igor.
Igor, and there's the scene where he's like, "You got me the brain of the person I told you to get, right?" And he's like, "Well, no, I didn't, but I got you the brain," and then he gives the name, and it is just
Abby Normal.
But you can tell that it cracked them up too. If you watch it closely, you can see Gene Wilder. He's like, "What was the name of the person's brain that you brought me?" Like, he's smiling the whole time, and the guy's like, "Abby something? Abby Normal?" Yeah, it was good. It was really good. That's the clip you got to find.
Abby Normal. Well,
yeah,
I got this one.
Go to, why don't you go where
fashion sits? Is there
different types who wear a day coat, pants with stripes, or cutaway coat, perfect fit.
I still can't believe that's the father from Everybody Loves Raymond.
He's so tall.
Well, that's what happens when you put platform shoes on someone. I mean, you could make Mark taller if you wanted to.
That's great. That's great.
And then you want the Abby Normal one.
That is, to me, that one was.
It's
like, if you watch it up close and personal, the Young Frankenstein, Abby Normal. Yeah, if you watch it real close, watch Gene Wilder's reaction. Just
now, that brain that you gave me, was it Hans Delbrooks? No. Good. Would you mind telling me whose brain I did put in? And you won't be angry? I will not be angry. Abby someone. Abby someone. Abby who? Abby Normal. Abby Normal. I'm almost sure that was the name. Are you saying that I put an abnormal brain into a 7.5-foot long, 54-inch wide gorilla? Is that what you're telling me? Wait, get him up! What?
So, I mean, did you catch it? Did you catch it where he's like this the whole time? And if you just catch the little bits, and I think it's, you see him, he's like there's a smile right there, and then he's like, okay, I got to cover my mouth because I'm smiling really big. I thought it was so good.
I wonder how many takes that took him.
Oh, you know what? I bet you if we went back to watch outtakes of this would you'd probably see so many people laughing in the background and in the forefront of that.
Oh, I love that one. So. The third one, the last one over. That was my favorite part of Blazing Saddles. There.
Which one?
This one where the sheriff
comes in.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play that one.
Every time that he would say the word, the bell would
ring.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord. I'm trying to find the one where they're all in the church after the cutthroats came into town, and they're like, our town has turned to shit.
There's so many of these that would not be able to be played today.
Right.
Oh, I'm right.
Especially
Blazing
off of Blazing Saddle.
Oh,
a
yeah, for
lot.
sure.
Now let's get into the Mel Brooks portion of this too, because
All right.
when you talk about Mel, when you talk about his stuff, man, a lot of it, and I don't know if he comes out and just does the slapstick comedy, but you catch it, and it may not come right out sometimes, but it hits you, and like, oh shit, that's funny. There was a movie that he did where he's a rich guy, and I cannot remember the name of this movie. I feel like it's Gone Broke or something like that. He's a rich guy.
Life stinks.
And the slapstick comedy in that one was kind of like what he did when he did there's a scene where he's like arguing with a homeless guy, and the homeless guy's like, yeah, I'm rich too, but I'm richer than you are. And he does the here, watch this. Boop. Pokes him in the eye, slaps him in the back of the head. It was great.
Does the Three Stooges?
Does the Three Stooges thing on him, yeah. So everybody's like, "Oh yeah, did you watch Life of Brian?" And I go, "You guys know that's Monty Python, right?" I was like, we had that conversation, and I think Mark brought it up too. He was like, "Oh yeah, I love that Holy Grail
Python.
one."
Yeah, well, see,
I was like,
if you type in Mel Brooks, that movie actually does come up.
Yeah, because so many people
it's
get that type of comedy mixed up.
Yeah.
Association.
I mean, in reality, it shocks me that Mel Brooks and Monty Python didn't do a movie together.
You know what shocks me is the amount of times that Gene Wilder has filmed with Mel Brooks. Like that to me was a comic genius duo. With him placing Gene Wilder in his movies, man, I think he did fantastic. I wish he would have brought Richard Pryor in too. When it was the Richard Pryor Gene Wilder team.
I'm surprised they did. I'm surprised they didn't.
Especially for like Blazing Saddles. I mean, was there something going on there where he couldn't be in Blazing Saddles?
Well, originally he was supposed to, but I think he turned it down. Or maybe that might have been around the time where he set himself on fire.
I think that's what it was.
Because he was on like some huge. I think he had snorted so much coke that he went like, I could set myself on fire and nothing would happen, and he set himself on fire.
Yeah, that didn't bode well for him. So
no. And but yeah, I think anything that Mel Brooks does. I mean, even if you could. We got a comment from a Facebook user. Pryor helped write.
Yes,
really?
I was about to say that.
Huh.
Good to know. I didn't know that.
No, I
didn't know that.
I didn't either.
You learn so much on this show, dude. Like, I mean, you learn as you go, right? So
yeah. The sad thing is, this ain't even a learning show. I think this is a show that people watch when they're, coming from the bar and they're totally tanked.
Richard Pryor turned down the role.
Man, I thought we were on PBS. Are we not being shot on PBS right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we're on PBS right now, right, Steven?
I don't know. Well, after they got rid of the Red Green Show reruns, they had to put me on there,
Hey, Kyle's having a hard
I
time
saw that.
Talking. Okay.
Stoned, not tanked.
Oh, probably from smoking too much. Or are you talking about smoking too much weed or something like that?
No, the day he set himself on fire, he was at a party. And he used some choice language when he was telling Johnny Carson about it, because Johnny Carson's like, we almost lost you. And he's like, yeah, it was kind of funny when the police got there because they're like, oh, hey, it's a black man on fire. Not that that's funny. I don't need to get canceled, but the way that Richard Pryor said it was funny. And he used a different word and I'm not using that word.
No.
But yeah, I mean, Richard Pryor in that movie probably would have made it funnier in a way. But at the same time, Cleveland Little was just the best at being Sheriff Bart.
You know, I caught an interview too when I was kind of scrolling through some of the Mel Brooks things. I caught an interview that Mel did on one of the late shows, and I don't remember who it was exactly. I feel like it was the redheaded guy. What's it, Conan?
Yeah.
Was it Conan? So
yeah.
I feel like he said that there was a scene that they took that he only took one scene out of Blazing Saddles. And it was the sheriff is upstairs with the prostitute lady, and she blows out the candle, and she's like, "So your people have very large," and she's like making noises and stuff, and he's like, "Yes, ma'am, but you're sucking on my arm." Mel said he took that out of his final cut because he got a final cut on that. So he said that was the only scene that he took out. He just thought it was too much.
That was like, funny.
That's so crazy that he thought that was too much with everything else that was in that movie.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, Mel Brooks today, if he was trying to make any of his movies, I don't think they could be made. And that's not saying that the rest of his movies were anyway like Blazing Saddles, but I don't think people would understand. Today's generation would not understand that humor. Just like Monty Python. I don't think anyone would understand that humor. That's like John Cleese, who was part of the Monty Python group, even went on and did an interview, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I get messages from all these younger generations saying, hey, if you're ever going to do the play, you got to cut out so much about, the life."
Then it's pointless to make it.
And that's what he even said. Yeah. And another, Young Frankenstein was, in my opinion, Mel Brooks' best. Loved History of the World. That was great too.
Hey, Scott, you're screwed in the head. That was not the best one for him.
What, the movie itself?
Yeah. I mean, it's a good movie.
I loved it.
I don't think it was his best.
Anyone here ever see Dracula Dead and loving it?
I will watch Young Frankenstein. I will listen. I love watching Young Frankenstein, and it's black and white, right?
Yeah.
I will watch that more than I would prefer to watch Dead and Loving It. And I love Leslie Nielsen. He is such a great actor. He was such a great actor. I can't, man. I can't. I'm sorry.
I love the one scene in Dracula Dead and Loving It when they're trying to have the last word, and he peeks around the corner, and he's like, Leslie Nielsen says one last word, and then Mel Brooks is like, "God, he's exhausting," or something.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like, it's a good movie. It's funny. It's just not as good as Young Frankenstein. It's not good. It's not as good as History of the World Part 1.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold a candle to any of his early stuff. I'm sorry. It just doesn't.
No, not at all. I mean, go ahead.
Go ahead, Robert.
No, go, Robert.
I was just going to say, just, watching History of the World Part 1 and then Part 2, it's so far, I mean, it's just two different movies. It's so crazy that, and you could just tell it's a different time.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even still, watching 1 and then watching 2, Mel Brooks still has, what it takes, but he had to make it to this
2023 standards.
Yeah. Which blows.
Which I'm glad that he did it, though, because we waited for it for so long, I feel like. I mean, literally, I'm still waiting for Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. if you go back and watch Spaceballs, do you remember him talking about the merch? He's like, yeah, we got Spaceballs the towel, Spaceballs this, and Spaceballs that. Oh, and we're going to start Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. Please, Mel, for the love of God.
Well, originally it was supposed to be an animated movie.
Well, they got the animated series out.
Yeah.
For it. But I didn't even. I forgot. I completely forgot that they had the animated series.
I think with John Candy being gone, I think that's the one thing that's holding it up, because you're never going to find another person that could play Barf.
Well, you can always do it like some of the other movies. Barf had a certain amount of time and he croaked.
Well,
The dog part of him died.
Rick Moranis is retired too, right? He's
Right.
not.
Yeah.
He's not acting anymore. So I mean, that would be. I mean,
He's
it's
supposed
almost
to
that
be
would be
coming
impossible.
back though.
Hey, he's doing little appearances here and there, nothing big though.
I promise you, if
I-
Mel knocked on the door and said, "Hey, I want to do a movie with you," he'd be like, "All right, give me the script."
Well,
Yeah.
I don't.
there's supposedly talk that they're gonna do a Honey I Shrunk the
Kids,
Kids and he's coming
and
back.
he is in that one. They were going to do a series on it,
Yeah.
but the series was already done once. Don't bring it back.
Bring
but
him back
you
for
also
the new
the robot. She's dead.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're talking about
what
what's
is
her
her
name?
name?
Her
Joan
daughter's
Rivers.
still. Yeah, her
Joan
daughter's. Yeah, her daughter's still alive though,
Yeah.
and her daughter
Yeah.
could do. her
Yeah,
daughter
she
could
sort of
take-
sounds like her.
But I do have to say this: Monty Python is not an acquired taste. Monty Python is like fine wine. Or it's like when you watch porn and you find Mark knows all about this. You find that special adult actress that Mark likes. and
Oh
that-
fuck yeah!
Oh god.
You find the right one. You always want to see what they do next. How many other guys that they could fit in their? Never mind.
Whoa. And their repertoire.
No, in their mouth.
Whoa, easy. Oh,
Okay.
We just went
wow.
from PG to.
Hey, I'm
just
trying to get.
Segue
just-
back into this.
We just got kicked off of PBS.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it. No more reading Rainbow for you guys.
I thought they canceled Green and Rainbow.
Listen,
The
I'm
bus
bringing it back.
crashed.
I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing it back.
They're-
Yeah, what for the meth heads?
Well,
Okay. This is for talking shit, not for Steven Jarvis is trying to keep his podcast.
hey, we never said that we were PG-13, PG, or any of that.
You invited us. You knew what you were into.
We
Well, I mean, if anyone's listened to my podcast, they would know I'm probably about right there with you guys.
we're grown ups, and
Well, we do know. Okay, wait a minute. We do know how to behave ourselves. Just we don't want to.
Well, yeah, because your wife put the choke chain on you a long time ago. We get it.
and he enjoys that.
Exactly. She had me neutered a long time ago.
Hey,
Robert's like,
Okay.
I love my wife, and we're not going to talk about that right now. So
My wife's
All
in
right,
the other room.
let's
so I
get back
can't
on.
say shit.
Let's get back onto Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
it's okay because I told my wife we were going to come talk about Mel Brooks, and she's like, "Who is that?"
oh, God bless her.
And I had to start
God
sending.
bless
I
her.
started sending her. I'm like, "This movie?" She's like, "No, never heard of it." This movie? No. I mean, I even went into like cartoons that he was in, so she would hopefully know it, and she didn't. So.
Oh my God! Like literally, there was a PBS show that he did, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Where it was like I felt like he was like the English teacher or something. Like they would write like the girl is tall, this girl is small, like and he would voice all that. And
Yeah.
I'm like I feel like that was on PBS or something, wasn't it? Right? Do you remember? You know which one I'm talking about? I don't know the name of the show.
The only one I remember that was even closely to that was Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
No, this was an animated cartoon.
Oh.
And it was for a learning.
Bless
It was
you.
it was like a learning program, I think.
You should know that one then.
I'm looking real quick.
Jackers, the Adventures of Piggly Winks. No,
That doesn't sound right.
no, it don't.
It's not Adventures of No, that's yeah.
Well, we all know who was the dinosaur in Barney. It was Mark.
No, I'm still too tall for that.
Yeah.
It may have been. It may have been. It says why he was Wiley the sheep on a PBS animated series.
Oh
Maybe
wow,
that's-
he actually did a Little Demon too.
Yep.
I watched that one.
So I'll have to go and see if I can find it. And
Grandma
if I find it, I'll message you
Grandma
guys.
for President.
It's funny when you start when you start searching and seeing what he actually did. That like between his production company and what there are two different types of things. Like The Fly. You know, he
Yeah,
his
I was
production company
gonna.
did The Fly.
Yeah, he didn't get a credited. They said a non-credited producer role.
Yep.
Because I was looking at that, I was like, "What the hell?" He did The Fly, but it was his company, not him.
No, his company did The Fly. He just was a part of his company that actually made the movie, Mark. He
so
didn't
they
do
basically
The Fly.
gave him a title thing, and it just saying that he was a part of the making
The
of.
kids from Room 402. He was
Are You
Mr.
Being
Miller.
Served was a great British comedy. I don't know that one.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know that one.
Did you hear me, Brian?
What is it called?
The Kids from Room 402. He was he played Mr. Miller, but that's in 2001.
You know, Mark, I'll find it and I'll just send you a clip of it because I remember seeing it, and it's just his voice and it's just animation, and
Right.
literally it's like I remember it was like the girl has entered the room, or the girl is here, the
Electric
girl is
Company.
gone. It wasn't the Electric Company?
Yes.
Was he in it?
Yes.
That's got to be what it
That's
was.
probably it. Yeah.
I remember watching that when I was little.
I just remember because it was PBS and it was, I want to say 80s time frame.
Yeah, it was actually that show was actually done in the 70s, but they kept running it all along. But yeah, I remember the Electric Company. That's the only other one that it could be on here.
But you know, God love him because he is, and he states this in a lot of his movies. He is the best. He's the most giving Jewish person that you'll ever meet, is what he tells.
Oh, he'll be the first one to make fun of himself.
And he does. He does it all the time.
He does it with the German people. You know, in a lot of his movies, he's got people that talk in German accents.
Yep.
He makes fun of he talks about the Nazis, but he also makes fun of them too. So.
And that was, I think that was like a part of the producers, wasn't it?
Yes.
Where it was like they wanted somebody to play the gay Hitler or something like that. What is that? What it was?
Yeah.
Like he did. It was so good, man. It's so good. There was this other clip that I saw where he's a Moyle, and he says, you know, you put your thing in here, and I take your thing. You saw it? It was like a guillotine.
Yeah, but
like,
he does that. He does that same thing when he's in Men in Tights.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah, that's yep.
Because they're gonna put Robin Hood in there, and he gets out of there.
He goes. What is it all? Involved in? He says you put your thing in this and snip, and they all go, "Ugh, no, thank you."
I love. Speaking of Robin Hood Men in Tights, I love when they bring in the character. I think it's Dom DeLuise, and he's supposed to look like Marlon Brando's The Godfather character, and he's telling him all about his henchmen, and then one's supposed to be like Clint Eastwood, but he's got no tongue, and he's just sitting there, just going like laughing.
That was the blind what's his name? The blind guy in that movie.
Shit, I just watched that yesterday.
I love the black guy's name in there, Achu.
Achu. Bless you. No, that's my name. I forget the guy's name. He's the blind guy.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Who was the guy that played him? Because I had not ever seen him in any other movies. I feel like I hadn't seen him in anything else.
It's been so long since I watched that movie.
Mark just watched it, so
I don't remember.
Dave Chappelle.
Really? It was Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle.
But who was the blind guy? Because that's
who was the blind guy?
I loved it when they put him up as sheriff, and he goes, they all go, a black sheriff? Yeah, it worked in Blazing Saddles.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
And he looks at the camera and does this,
So let's see. We've touched a little bit on
the funny thing. You know when the blind guy gives Robin Hood that necklace with the key in it?
Yeah.
When he puts it on him, if you notice closely, it's open.
Isaac Hayes is who was a sneeze.
Yeah, that was I choose Dad.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I'm sitting there.
Isaac Hayes in there. Holy shit.
Yep. I was looking at that. I'm looking at the movies carefully this time when I was watching them, see if I could see anything weird, and that was one of the weird things that I caught.
I love when they try and get the chastity belt off, and he's like, it's the wrong key.
We're gonna have to get a locksmith.
And then the sheriff in Nottingham's trying to take a jackhammer to it.
Yep.
Now, in Blazing Saddles, though, I'll go to that one. The one thing I did like is I liked it when they were blowing up the town.
Yeah. They created the fake Rock Ridge.
Yeah.
And all these bodies are blowing up, and then all of a sudden, when they're all down there and everything, it pans out and it becomes this big city. It's no longer the little, fake stuff. And I'm like, wow.
I think one of my favorite parts is when they had, and he was a famous football player for the Detroit Lions. God, what was his last name was Karras. And he played for them in like the 60s.
Alec Harris, yeah.
And wasn't he plays Mongo and he goes right up to the guy's horse and just punches it.
Yep.
Yep.
But my favorite scene is still in that one was when the sheriff was coming into town, and
what did he say? The sheriff's near. No.
Yep. And then every time he'd say it, it would ding, and where you didn't hear the word, and that I was laughing my ass off.
I gotta see if I gotta show that one. Hopefully it doesn't say those.
I asked Mark to watch I asked Mark, I said, man, you got to watch Blazing Saddles. It's really good. I mean, my opinion, Blazing Saddles is really good. Okay.
I'm not a fan of it per se because
it had like 13, you feel like you're a teenager watching it, because that's when you would be like, oh my God, that's funny. Like the pork and beans scene where everybody's farting around the campfire, dude.
Yeah, see, to me, farting doesn't make me laugh anymore. So
not anymore, but think about when you were younger. Yeah. So if you had watched this movie, when you were younger, you would absolutely.
It had a lot of great stuff, but I just wasn't a fan of it.
Slapstick comedy too.
Yeah,
slapstick comedy.
I love it that most of his movies always end up in chaos somewhere in the middle or towards the end. There's some type of chaos, like in Blazing Saddles, they went from the town all the way into the actual movie sets, and we're fighting there, and then they went into to the movie itself, and they were fighting, and then they went in to finish watching the movie.
Yeah, you're talking about when they're like when they go into the play area, and it's like, come on, girls, it sounds like a bunch of steam escaping in here.
Yeah, yep.
I was like, oh my God.
Okay, everyone, I'm going to play this. Let's not lose it, because it's kind of hinted at what the guy's saying.
Oh, it's just funny.
I mean, if I get canceled, hell. I'll at least
Hey, the sheriff is near.
What are you saying? The sheriff is near.
No, God blame it, dang blame it. The sheriff is
Oh, please don't say they say it.
You can cut it at any time. You don't.
Chairman of the Welcoming Committee, it is my.
Yeah, I can't, because I already know what he says.
It's it's TikTok though. I don't think that they would.
They won't let it. No,
I don't think that they will.
It'll bleep it out. It'll bleep everything out, because it bleeps out. It bleeps out
an
curse
hearty
words and stuff.
handshake to our new. And yeah,
I love the sign. It went.
Welcome, Sheriff.
Rolls up.
Yep.
Hit the button. Roll it up.
Did anyone notice in the church scene when it shows the people that are part of the church, everyone's last name is Johnson?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I didn't. pay attention to
Here,
that.
yeah, I'll share that one.
Mark, you weren't paying attention. So you got to watch it again because you're going to see subtle things.
You got to
too.
watch the little things.
Well, I
once
was
you watch
watching
it the first.
Well, normally the first time I watch it, I don't see everything. I just watch the movie itself. The second time I watch it, I'll look for different things.
You know, in the where they're doing the Klan scene, where Gene Wilder has where he gets the it's where he gets the sheriff, and he's like, "Hey, look what I got," and he's like, "Where are all the white women at?" That people are doing to this day. They're still doing that. You know, people, if you go on TikTok and just type in "where the white women at," you will get all kinds of people that have emulated that. Because
I thought that was a great
God.
scene. That was a great scene right there alone. Because you need to sign here. Look, it's. I thought I told you to wash up. Look, it's coming off.
Here's the scene you guys are talking about. Hold on.
Hey, where are the white women at? Hey, boys, look what I got here.
Still trying to find the church scene one, but evidently that one must not be on here.
It's all good. It's all good. Hey, boys, look what I got here. Where are all the white women at? See this right here. This is like one of the opening scenes, is it not?
No. This is when they say let Mongo kill him.
Okay. Mark, it's a fart joke. It's a fart joke.
Yes, I know.
What in the name of the world is working?
How about some more beans, Mr. Taggart? I'd say you've had enough.
Now, I think that would have been funnier if they would have done it and it would have like caught on fire or something like that.
I see where you're going with it. Like if somebody would have been like stoking the fire or something like that, and then I could see that. That would have been, but I think they did a really good job there because at the end of the day, this was geared to hit an audience of everyone. This was not was not a rated R movie. I think this movie was rated PG or PG-13.
13.
PG-13.
I think it was 13. Yeah.
So you got to hit more of the family when they went to the theaters or when they were able to watch this movie.
Now the other part I liked was when they first introduced Gene Wilder. He goes, I forgot his name. Shit. And he goes, I used to be really good with a gun. Look, the Waco kid. Yeah, the Waco kid. Look, my hand's steady. Oh, you could shoot really good. Yeah, but this is the hand I shoot with.
As steady as a rock. Yeah, but this is the one I shoot with. Yeah.
I saw Blazing Saddles in a drive-in.
I think that's where I saw it too, Robert. Yeah. Honestly, I think that's where I seen the movie as well.
Fuckers. Oh, you
guys. Dude, I miss drive-in stuff, dude. Like
they still got drive-ins around. They still got drive-ins.
We've got one. We've got one.
I think Minnesota.
Yeah, in Ocala. We go to Ocala every so often and do one there.
There's one or two around Atlanta.
I would love to have it one here where we live.
Yeah,
but
I still like when you first get introduced to the mayor and he's handing out all the paddle things and he's like, "Mine's warped."
You got to find that scene.
Oh yeah. And just so that everyone knows, yes, his secretary does have some big,
yes. Let's talk about why you're looking for that.
What about the hangings? The guys, the hangman's, going to hang the horse and the guy at the same time. The guy in the wheelchair,
they're hanging them all. That's the whole point of it. They're hanging them all.
Just know, young man, I don't discriminate. Blazing Saddles.
While you're looking up that one though, let's talk about History of the World Part 1. My favorite scene in that is Moses being spoken to by God, and he says, "I'm giving you these commandments, these orders."
Oh, the 10 Commandments, yeah.
So he goes in where the lightning strikes, and he comes out, and he's like, "God has asked me to give you these 15 10 commandments." I think that's probably one of the best parts.
I love that says U.S. politics in 2022.
Just one more bill for you to sign, sir.
What the hell is this?
This is the bill that will convert the state hospital for the insane into the William J. Lepedamine Memorial Gambling Casino for the insane.
Gentlemen, this bill will be a giant step forward in the treatment of the insane gambler.
Yes, bravo. Beautiful.
Come on,
All right, sir.
Work.
And then you said History of the World Part 1, right?
Yeah, Mark, what's his name? What's the mayor's name? Governor. He's a mayor, right? The mayor.
Yeah.
What's his name?
In History of the World?
No, right here in Blazing Saddles.
Okay.
What was his name?
Lepedamine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, so is that like the pedophile? Is that what they were going for? So this is, guys, I feel like in Mel Brooks's movies, there's always going to be one of those scenes that just kind of stands out to you. And for me, for History of the World, this is the one that I remember from being little, like watching this as a kid. And I just thought this was great.
This is the Lord thy God commanding you to obey my law. Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. A deaf man could hear you.
What? Nothing, Punish. Forget it.
That's only part of it. You're missing.
Yeah.
You're missing
Here it is, right here.
Moses went to the mountain, and God.
What? Nothing,
There you go.
Forget it. Oh, Lord, why have you chosen me? What would you have me do for you? I shall give you my laws, and you shall take them unto the people. Yes, Lord.
My laws. He could have played Santa Claus in any movie.
Lord, I shall give these laws unto thy people. Hear me. Oh, hear me. All pay heed. The Lord Jehovah
Oh, shit.
has given unto you these 15.
10.
Wait. 10 commandments for
These
all
10.
to obey.
10 commandments.
Moses.
That would have been great though. Like, hey, by the way, there's like these 15 commandments that you have to learn.
Hello, can I help you, sir?
I think this is the scene I'm thinking of.
All right, so this is Dracula, Dead and Loving It, Leslie Nielsen.
No.
Movies from the early 90s, correct? 94, 95?
Yeah, I do believe it had to be in that part. I love when he opens up the thing.
The casket or the...
No, it's near the end. And when Renfield hits I think it's a window or something, and he's like, "Renfield, you asshole." I'm trying to find the one where him and Mel Brooks go back and forth, and they're all trying to get
for
the last
who's getting
word.
the last word.
Yeah.
Yeah. So put it in. Mel Brooks versus Leslie Nielsen, last word. Try
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
L-I-E.
L-I-E?
Yeah. Yeah, that should do it. Maybe.
Here it is.
What are you Oh, Count Dracula. Just talking about you. Favorably, of course.
Forgive my interruption, but I was just made aware of the unfortunate passing of Miss Lucy. I wish to offer my condolences.
Thank you.
We're all very distraught. Yes. Oh, Count Dracula, allow me to introduce Professor Abraham Van Helsing of London University. He is a doctor of rare diseases as well as theology and philosophy.
And gynecology.
Oh, I didn't know you had your hand in that too.
Van Helsing, a name we know even in the wilds of Transylvania.
Count Dracula. Curious. Are you descended from Vlad Tepes, the first Dracula?
Tepes?
Yeah. It means the impaler. He was a bloodthirsty butcher who inflicted unspeakable tortures on the peasants, cutting off their hands and feet, gouging out their eyes, and then impaling them on iron spikes.
They had it coming.
What could they possibly have done to deserve such barbaric and inhuman treatment?
We have a saying in the old country, Nostoi Blekler, then my pushta.
They also said, Stanija Ploftoi, Gag Mul Perfut.
Very impressed, Van Helsing. You speak the ancient Moldavian.
Validadalika.
Apply. Well, gentlemen, I will take my leave. I see, Van Helsing, you are a man who likes to have the last word. I will not be drawn into such a childish exercise. Voloshtoy.
It is immaterial to me who has the last word.
Bolotnik.
It is getting late. We'll carry on this conversation at another time. Good night.
Good night.
Abalutza.
Such arrogance. It is easy to see why the decadent aristocracy is dying out in that part of the world. Fushta! Gentlemen, our work is not done. The vampire is still among us. You must remember he is cunning. He has the wisdom of centuries. And above all, he will never give up.
Gardenia.
That man, he never gives up. Never gives up.
What are you thinking, Professor?
When did Count Dracula move in?
That is one of the funniest scenes in that whole movie.
Yep.
So, in your rankings, Steven, where do you find Mel Brooks movies? Give me your top three. What do you think?
My top three?
Yeah. Your number one, which you would watch every single day.
Young Frankenstein at 3. 2, I'd have to go with Spaceballs, and 1, Blazing Saddles.
Robert, where are you at with it?
I would just flop Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles. Those are the 3. That would be my top 3 as well.
Marky Mark and the Fun Bunch?
I'd take out Blazing Saddles and put in Men in Tights.
Okay, so I'm number 1. My Spaceballs is up there. Spaceballs, History of the World is 2, and then 3 is Men in Tights. That's where I stand with it. But anything that he has his hand in, I think is fantastic. I'm really glad that he did bring History of the World Part 2 to Hulu in this new series, because even though it's not what we're used to, it's not the his people being shot out of the thing where he's like pull and he's shooting the people that he loves. Oh, that one pulled a little to the left.
Yep.
That was History of the World Part 1, Mark, by the way. He hasn't done that in this series, but the series is really good.
The series, Part 2, my favorite one was the phone. They're on the phone, they're talking, and he hangs up, and then the other guy prank calls him, and that was one of my favorites in that one.
It's like, are you sure you didn't prank call me? Because we're the only ones that have phones.
I think one of my favorite scenes in History of the World Part 1 is where he's the king, and he's like, it's good to be king.
It's good to be king. Oh, no.
And then they're playing the life-size chess, thing and jump the queen.
No. There's a scene in History of the World Part 1. You look like the piss boy. Well, you look like a bag of shit. I was dying, dude. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they put this in here. He was like, no, but you look like you look exactly like the piss boy. Mark, have you seen it?
No.
Go watch it.
No, see, I gotta find it first. Where can you find it?
History. You can put it on YouTube. Just History of the World Part 1. Mel Brooks. It should be on YouTube.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Otherwise, I would have watched it already.
Oh man! But even trying to rank your favorite Mel Brooks movies,
it's hard.
They're all good.
It's hard. They're all good. So my number one movie is this, and my number one movie is this, and my other number one movie.
Well, why isn't it this? Oh shit! I forgot about that one.
If you could change anything about a Mel Brooks movie, and I want to start with Mark on this one, because I know Mark wants to change something in Blazing Saddles. What would you have changed? If you could have changed anything out of one of his movies.
He lives in Florida, everyone. He lives in Florida, by the way.
Hey, I live in Florida. Calm down.
Actually, no, I wouldn't change a thing in his movies.
Okay, never mind.
Because first off, you wouldn't have him, legendary. I put him as a legendary person because he is a legend in this field. And without his comedy, without his movies, we wouldn't have some of the other slapstick comedy type movies like Naked Gun or, some of the other ones. So, no, I would never change anything of his. I mean, I would, other than that, you have certain things that everybody is going to want to change, especially in his older movies. They're going to say, oh, I want this changed. I want this changed. And that's why it made them all that much better for us, because that's something we don't get to see now, because too many people get offended by what he did there, even though he wasn't trying to offend anybody doing it.
Right.
You know what?
So,
Mark?
yes.
Everyone give him a harumph. Harumph. He didn't give me a harumph. Give the governor a harumph. Watch your ass.
Well, when you and I discussed it, you were like, yeah, it was a good movie, but it wasn't,
it wasn't my type. It wasn't my
type.
It's not my type. But even still, even if I don't like it, it's not up to me to change his movies. It's not up to me to decide what is good and what is bad in a movie. If I don't want to like it, I don't like it. If I don't want to watch it, I'm not watching it.
Man, I hit a nerve on that question, I guess. Steven, I'm going to bring it over to you. I'm going to ask you that same question.
Well, no, the only reason why I hate it when people, and it's not that, I hate it when people sit there and say, well, it can't be played nowadays because of what it happened. Well, okay, if you don't like the movie, don't go watching it. Don't try making somebody change it.
Yeah. But Mark, that is true.
I see what you're saying. I understand that. I'm not asking you.
The only thing, if I was to change anything, I can't picture. The producers would be the more ones that I would change out of that, but that's something totally different. Other than that, because I don't like sing-alongs a whole lot, so the producers really.
You think that was one of his movies that kind of bombed for you? It didn't do it for me either. It was funny. It was
funny,
me,
but I'm not one for the songs weren't all that catchy. But again, it wouldn't be Mel Brooks without songs in movies most of the time.
So did you watch the old producers or only the new producers?
Shit, I could only get the new producer.
Okay, so the old one is more of like that slapstick comedy type stuff compared to the one with
the one that I found. The one I found said it was the 1967 one. I think that's the year. And I was like, okay. And then when I turned it on, it was the one, that had
the remake.
The remake.
Yeah.
The one that didn't really do it for me, I think, was the silent movie, and I think it's just because we had to read so much.
Right.
Like, that was a good movie, but it kind of aggravated me because we had to read. And
if I have to read subtitles, I'm not watching the movie.
Mark is a lot like Tommy Boy. You know, if he reads too much, he's gonna need headaches or Midol for cramps.
Hey! It helps with back pain.
Oh my!
Oh
what
my.
What are you not telling us here, bud?
Hey, all it is aspirin.
All right, and now we're gonna safely segue into. I can't change anything, but I do want to piggyback off what Mark said. You know, about how they couldn't be made today because you can't show them on TV today. You will never see Blazing Saddles on TV. I could be wrong on that, but you won't. And if it is so heavily edited that it takes the experience out of it.
It would take the funny parts away too.
And you got to realize, and to everyone that's listening to this, you got to realize it was a much different time back then where everyone could joke about shit. Where now everyone gets offended. I mean, hell, I think at one point they were going to have it at one of the movie theaters in Minnesota, and people wanted to boycott it because
they actually have it here in Brooksville. They play it every once a month.
You live in Florida, of course they're going to have it.
Robert, what about you? Anything that you think you would have changed about any of the movie, any of Mel Brooks movies?
I wish he would have kept doing the same type of movies later on, like in the 90s, further into the 90s, because he was really good about bringing all the people that were like big name stars at the time.
Yeah.
And putting them, I mean, even, you know, like Orson Welles, you know, everybody knows who he is, but, you know, in history of the world, they wouldn't know that was Orson Welles.
Yeah.
Just he did a lot of things like that was really neat. And I don't think he did that in the when he started making movies, like even with Life Stinks, there's nobody, you know, it's really him, you know.
That was it was a movie about him, like
Well, History in the World Part 2, I mean, he got a bunch of actors to come to that one, but not the ones not real big name ones that you figure.
Well, he can't get Gene Wilder because Gene Wilder's dead.
Really?
So Richard Pryor. Yeah.
Thanks for telling me. Now you just broke my heart.
You're a couple years late.
Next thing you're going to tell me is Richard Pryor died too.
What?
He's been dead for a decade.
Really? Oh my God. Oh no.
But I think he had to do that with History of the World Part 2 because that's how Part 1 was. It was really full of all those people, you know, and it wasn't like they were great big stars, but they were relevant at the time, and that's what he did with Part 2 as well. You know, it's kind of people that are partially relevant and some that were past it, you know, and you know, he put a lot of different people in there.
I think he does that Saturday Night Live feel, you know, that vibe.
Yes.
That's
really a sketch comedy type thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it works. It really worked, you know.
I mean, I love the fact that he plays more than one character in his movies too, and it makes it work even better because he knows what they're doing. And I'm taller than Yoga.
Yogurt.
Yeah, Yoga. Yeah, Yoga.
Something
I'm taller than you.
And I both need to do.
Well,
but honestly, there's really nothing I would want to change. I mean, producers maybe, but at the same time, whoever told him to change with the times, because in the 90s, and I'll agree with Robert on that, in the 90s, it kind of felt like someone was telling him, you can't be that way anymore. People won't understand it. And that's the thing, kind of like John Carpenter after a while. Once he got past the 70s and 80s, his movies just fell flat. I mean, Ghost from Mars, it didn't work anymore.
That's a different thing.
And I think that's the thing is like he's not. If he tried to revamp something or tries to redo something, I don't think that he would wash it out with, you know, bad stuff. Like if he ended up making a Part 2 to Spaceballs, I don't think it would be terrible, honestly. Because it's still going to be a Mel Brooks film.
He would make it relevant for now.
Yeah,
I think so too. Yeah, and I think I'd be smart.
Series of Star Wars rather than the original trilogy.
Well, you could use a lot of what we have going on in the world today as well. Like you could use like Elon Musk and Tesla and that kind of stuff as their spacecraft. You think about it, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you can touch
on the side.
Yeah, exactly.
He would make Teslas where they were driving all by themselves, and then all of a sudden they just crash.
I mean, look at what he did with the Winnebago. He made that
Exactly.
like a Millennium Falcon type
Larger
vehicle.
than life, baby.
Yeah.
Larger than life. So,
but all right. Do you guys have anything going on? Plug your channels. I've always said you guys can. Go ahead.
Well, my name is Brian. I'm with a little show called Talking Shit. That's my partner right up there. That's Mark. So you guys come and check us out on YouTube, Facebook. Mark, where else are you playing us?
Twitter. I really want us to be on Instagram, but fuckers won't let us.
We'll figure it out. So we've got some stuff upcoming. Stay tuned.
Next week it's all open, right? Next week's all open. We don't know what we're doing just yet, but the week after, on the 13th, we do have a special one. Do you remember her name?
She's an actress. No, I don't remember her name.
I know
Taylor,
the character.
It's something Taylor. It's
I know the character she plays.
Lauren Marie Taylor.
Lauren Marie Taylor.
I know the character she plays in
and what she's from? What is she from?
Friday the
13th Part 2.
Friday the 13th Part 2.
She's Vicky.
Yes, I can't wait for that interview.
Mark's pretty excited about that.
I can't tell.
We listen to that guy's podcast.
Yeah.
That's Robert Parmer of The Broken System, and his show is absolutely fantastic. And Steven, I think you can attest to that too.
Oh, definitely.
We're only on episode 4, and we're all freaking going, dude, what the look, I don't have any nails left.
And if I could say this before you announce what's coming up on your show, Robert, I have to say, if anyone loves true crime, Broken System podcast is the best one. And I mean, I no offense to Deep Dark Secrets with what they're doing. I'm very proud of them, as we all are. But with what Robert has been doing with this whole, and I'll even let him talk to you a little bit more about that. But it's just amazing. And if you haven't heard it yet, what the hell are you guys thinking?
Free on Spotify. I literally get in my truck, I plug my phone in, and I say, "Hey Siri, play the Broken System podcast."
Oh God,
I sit here and do this for about an hour.
Look,
it depends. So
usually he's naked at that point, but we won't go there.
I'm never naked. Not during that.
You see what that says?
Yes.
It says, "Okay, playing the Broken System podcast, season 1, episode 4." I've already listened to it. I'm like, come on, man. I need more.
I mean, underneath my name is the hashtag Justice for DJ.
Yep. And Robert, can you tell us a little bit more about who DJ Ficky is without going into too much?
Yeah, so he is basically a husband and a father and a brother to to Amanda and Brandy and his life wasn't great. They had some issues with drugs. They had some issues, that just bogged their life down, and it just kept into a repetitive cycle they couldn't get out of. And they frequented a known drug house in North Georgia, and there were some issues, and it's the same kind of thing. Anytime you get involved with that type of drug, that it just ends up being a little world of its own. And in that they got wrapped up in some things, and it was said that he committed suicide on October 3rd of 2016. And that's not the case. There, as you can see, once you go through the podcast, you realize really quickly from the 911 tapes that there's something weird going on. And then as you go into everything, and as we get further into it, a lot of that stuff gets pointed out, and you can see the stuff that we talk about in the 911 tapes, how it really is different than what was said that night. And, the biggest thing is that he still hasn't been charged. And we're fighting to get the district attorney to do what's right, and the police have pushed it forward, and it's all on the district attorney now to do what they need to do to make things right. So we're just trying to get his name out there. We're trying to get his story out there, and it's close to my heart because of it's local to me. And when I got ready to start doing the podcast, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know if it was going to be an episode here, episode there. I didn't know what I was going to do. And then when I came across DJ's story, I realized his story's out there a lot. You can search it in most podcast forums, and you'll see that Amanda pushed really hard to get his story out there. But everybody spent 30, 45 minutes, on it, and then went on to their next episode. And I felt like it needed a lot more because there's so much that goes on, and that's what we've been able to show. And so the things that we've done here recently is we've started our YouTube channel, and it's up, and once a week we're going to bring in what we talked about the week before. We're going to show the videos. As we go forward, we'll show some interviews that were done with some of the other people that were in the house, some interviews that Amanda did directly with some of those people. We'll go through the autopsy reports. We'll do things like that. We'll show you guys some of the stuff from the scene, just so people can see and put pictures and things with it. And a lot of times it helps to give people the opportunity to put a face with a name, and that's with Mark, that's the biggest thing, is we've been able to put a face to a name, and people see it and they're like, wow, that's not what I expected. So
not me.
Not that Mark. He didn't do anything. Not that Mark. He was in Florida. He didn't do anything wrong. And we're just pushing it out there to get it out there, get it talked about, to get more people talking about it, and get some pressure put on to where we can get justice for DJ, as it says underneath Mark's tagline there. And just for the biggest thing is his family has not been able to have closure.
Mm-hmm.
They've been fighting so hard to get this done the right way. They haven't had time to process everything that happened. So, they're going on 7 years now of fighting for DJ and just pushing so hard to get this taken care of. And that's what we're going to continue to do. So
keep fighting the good fight, man. That's, I think more information gets out there. If there's more pressure on the DA, I would hope that the DA would say, hey, let's reestablish a timeline, and let's re-look at all of this. Let's see what
all they got to do is look up what Robert has done, and he's put a timeline all together for them.
In one of Robert's episodes, I don't remember if it was the second episode or the third episode, the thing came up that if there was, I feel like there was something that came up, if there was more evidence that came forward, that they would reopen the case or something like that. Is that that was something that I remember hearing in one of the shows, in one of the
and so that's one of the biggest things is that they have everything that I'm going over is what they have. They have everything that I'm not bringing something to them that they haven't seen already and hadn't already looked through and talked about. So it just blows my mind. And you'll see what the DA, in the next couple episodes, you'll hear what the DA's response to all of this evidence was. So
do we actually get to hear from the DA at all, or just
it's a written letter? It's in the case file. And
I think a great idea would be to see if we can get an interview.
They won't.
Because
it's an open investigation right now.
And plus, they want to be able to kind of hold any stuff until it's done. But
here's the thing: I like the fact that it is an open investigation. It's not a closed investigation.
Well,
so that's I'm really excited about that. That just means that there is still a potential that somebody and that person could still be charged for this crime.
Absolutely, and that's that's one of the things. And I don't want to say that it was fortunate, but it was because it was ruled a suicide. They were able to get all the files and have all of this information to push so hard, because had it been undetermined from the very beginning, none of this stuff would be out there. It would still be a closed file. They wouldn't have released any of this. So when they changed it in 2018, I think 2018 or 2019 from suicide to undetermined, that's when they closed everything and they won't talk about it now. So
well,
the sheriff wouldn't talk about it anyway.
Mark and I are on board. Just let us know how we can help. We'll try to do what we can do here.
You guys have been a big help for me. Just one, being in the group, it helps get our name out there, and then being on these shows with you guys, and you guys being bought into it is a big thing as well. And that's the thing, is I know that when somebody finally listens to it, they're going to buy into it. And I see it as we grow, that people are buying into it and understanding what's going on, and they're like, oh my God. I start getting messages and things from different people, and there's a lot of people in that little world that messages me probably weekly after every episode, and I have to clarify the information with a man. No, I'm talking about people that were in that world up there with them.
Oh,
and that are trying to get their 2 minutes of fame or whatever they want, or trying to say, oh no, that wasn't how it was.
Well, come on the show and tell me how it was.
Hey, we'll bring him on talking shit.
I basically take everything through Amanda, because I want to get her opinion, because she's talked to these people and she's vetted all these people, and it happens every time that she gets it out there. So I always go to her, and she says, no, don't listen to that person. They're just trying to, they're just trying to get themselves involved. It's weird.
And why give them their 2 minutes or 2 seconds of fame?
And that's the thing, is I don't want to take away anything from DJ. I want to get, I want to make sure that his story's out there.
But, the one thing that I find so interesting is the 3 phone calls. And Robert, you even said this when you were on the Talking Shit show. Mark even said it, and Brian even said it. They're like, listen to those 3.
Mm-hmm.
And when she's saying right there, you killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how... And I'm not going to call out Georgia police. I'm pretty sure a bunch of people already have. But at the same time, how do you not listen to that and think maybe there's something to that?
I mean, she was in their office 2 or 3 days after it happened, telling them, this is what happened. These are all the people that were there. You need to talk to these. It wasn't just 3 of us. It was all of these people, and they still just kind of, it's a drug house. We've been there before, and it's frustrating.
We got houses like that around here, but at the end of the day, I think that if something like this were to happen, I don't think Citrus County, in this county, I don't think that they want to leave something open like that, because you're going to have an outflow. Right now we've got a deputy that got hit while directing traffic during high school graduation.
Oh wow!
And he is still in the hospital.
Broken legs. They had to repair him. They did the surgery 2 days ago, I think it was.
Did he wake up yet?
They have not said. I just know that.
But there is a big outreach right now for Deputy Lahara of the Citrus County Sheriff's Office. So for us here in this little county of Citrus, we really appreciate that, and we'll help out where we can help out, Mark and I. But that's what I mean. Like when a tragic event like what you guys had for DJ with that event, I would think that there would be.
The police don't see it as a tragic event, because to them it was just another druggie. He's not a person. He was a druggie. He was in that house. Therefore, that's what they're considering.
And once they determine that, he was just another druggie, he's not a person, which we're not saying that he isn't a person. He is a living human being that made mistakes just like all of us have. And he got mixed up with the wrong person who killed him. And now, after so much of people getting out there and saying, hey, this isn't a suicide, maybe relook at this, they finally get off their ass, and now they start relooking at it.
Yep.
So, but if you want to know the rest of the story, you got to go watch this podcast.
You got to go listen to the Broken System podcast. One day,
I know we're giving you guys a lot of information,
Yeah.
man, and I hope that brings you to a point where you're like, wait, what happens? What's going on? What is
and then you'll know how we feel every week when he ends his podcast.
I'm waiting for the same broken system time, same broken system channel. The old Batman TV show shit.
It's so funny when it gets there because I'm like, okay, this is where I'm going to end it, and I'm like, then Mark messages me going, why did you end it right there? I'm like, well,
I said,
I guess I did good.
Again.
Yep.
Yes.
I got people message me all the time. They're like, "What you did?" I'm like, "I didn't mean to. I just stopped right there because it was a good breaking point."
Mm-hmm.
But
the starting of the lie detector is where you ended last one, and I'm like, "Oh man."
So that was the first thing I fucked those episodes up a little bit, though.
But that's why I asked. That's why the first thing I asked you when I came in here is what time you releasing the next one.
Yep, I'm hoping to have it out sometime during the day tomorrow. I ended up releasing. I had family members messaging me last week. That's the reason why I ended up releasing that episode early. They're like, "You got to let this go now. We need to know what's going on." So that's why I ended up doing it a little bit early.
It worked.
Yep.
So,
Steven, thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it. But
absolutely,
boys, I'm going to say good night.
Yeah, he's old. He's got to go to bed.
I think, one day after, this is all said and done, I think we should have a round table of talking about Monty Python or some shit like that.
Yep.
Or, you know what? I can come on anyone's show. I'm that one person that just sits watching my show and goes like, God, they haven't given up on me yet. But, no, I'm going to be doing, more of my history of the Minnesota Vikings. I'll even talk about Kirk Cousins. As much as we know how much I hate
Haven't you given up? Haven't you done enough on the Vikings?
Good night, guys.
Good night, Brian.
Good night, Brian.
But shut up,
Brian.
Mark. And hopefully I'll have Kyle on here. I'll talk with him behind the scenes, try and get something so that we can make something. But thank you guys so very much. Thank you, Robert, for coming on the show. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Brian.
No problem.
Sorry, Kyle, that your internet was shit. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this stream. Remember, go to the deluxeeditionnetwork.com where you will find the Broken System podcast. You will find the Talkin' Shit Show. You'll find this podcast and the podcasts a month, which are Mark.
It's not my show. You tell me.
Barrel Age Chicks and the Deep Dark Secrets podcast. Thank you all.
And don't forget the Denny's is being released tomorrow.
Yeah, and the Denny's show is going to be released tomorrow, and Mark's not going to win Podcast of the Year because he can go fuck himself. And that's where you end it.
This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.